Jai Hind, Jai Hind to all. Today I am here to discuss very important topic of the cloud computing. Cloud computing is a very emerging area. You know that everything nowadays are using the cloud computing. That means whatever we are doing in any field, in any domain, all that data are uploaded on the cloud, and that facilities are accessed through the cloud. Okay, so cloud computing is very emerging topic, and this is the course in AKTU final year, and the subject code is the PCS. Now this is the BCS 7071 basically. Okay, and IST definition and framework. Today we'll cover what are the different aspect, how to define the cloud computing, and what are the different models that are adopted by the NIST, National Institute of Standard. Okay, and let us see that this is the framework of the NIST cloud definition. As per NIST, as we know that NIST is playing a very big role in the field of cloud computing. This is the US based organization, National Institute of Standard and Technology, NIST, that is giving the number of concept, methodology, definitions, terminologies to the cloud computing. Okay, that is that has given the different models that can be used to understand the cloud computing, the different aspect of the cloud computing. So let us see this. If we see this diagram, this is the hierarchical architecture basically. So this is the hybrid cloud, then private, community, public cloud. This is the deployment model. In cloud computing, NIST has given two different model. First one is the service model. First one is the service model, and other one is deployment model. Okay, so NIST has given two different kind of model. First one is the service model, to understand the basic services, the different broad categories of the services that is given to the consumer by the cloud provider, a cloud vendor. And second one is the deployment model. What is this? So in cloud computing, different kind of services are provided to the consumer, and what is the method, what is the platform, how these services are hosted and launched for the consumer. So this overall aspect is known as deployment model. Deployment means how to deploy these services for the consumer. So here we see that given the two different kind of model, service model as well as deployment model. So this is the service model, then deployment model. Then when we come at the bottom, then there is the essential characteristics, and there are some common characteristics of the cloud computing. In some other lecture, we will cover in detail this essential and common characteristics of the cloud. So as background, as gross root means at the bottom, these are the different kind of characteristics. That means the features that are provided by the cloud to the consumer. Okay. So in this lecture, this NIST cloud definition have these four major layer. These are the characteristics, some common characteristics. That means whenever you want to massively scale the computing resources, then you have certainly you have to go for the cloud computing resources. When you have resilient computing, that means when you want the resilient computing means some computing nodes or some computing resources are destroyed at the runtime, or that there is some problem at the runtime, then your overall computing model does not suffer. That means that easily overcome from the failure. So this is the resilient computing. So if you want to resilient computing, then certainly you have to go for the cloud computing. Homogeneity. Okay, there is the very, there is the very fair distribution of all the things. So there is the homogeneous type of accessibility. Then geographic distribution. You know that when we want to establish physical all the labs or the computing resources, servers, then there is a constraint of the geographical distance, because it may be possible nowadays people are working on the interdisciplinary projects or the work or the research work where number of different team member are belong from the different geographical areas. Somebody from the US, somebody from the France, some maybe Spain, from India also, and all these different personality are working on the same project. So how to deal if you are going to establish the physical resources and you want to connect them? Okay, so then they have to move together and they have to come some common places, then they have to work at that place. So actually, is it not possible nowadays? So you have some mechanism where geographic distance does not matter. Okay, so certainly for this type of computing model, you have to go for the cloud computing. Virtualization and service orientation. Here everything is provided in the form of web services. Whatever you want to access, what you want to access, that there will be three kind of things, three kind of resources, computing resources basically you want to access in the in the computing environment. What are that? You may want to access some application software. Okay, some application software like email services, ERP services, customer relationship management type of services, emailing, okay, billing, reporting. All these are the application kind of software you want to access. So these are the application kind of software resources you want to access. This is the one kind of the computing resource. Other kind of computing resource is the platform. Platform means you want some programming capabilities where you can write your own program, your own project, and you can host that project. So for that, what is requirement? You should have some database, good database. You should have some editor, interpreter, compiler, okay, debugger. So these kind of software, you may say that system software kind of computing resources you may want for the launching your own project, to write your own applications. So this is second kind of computing resources you may want. First one is application kind of. Second one is the system kind of, system support. Okay, like editor, programming capability, interpreter, debugger, testing tools. Okay, and database management systems. And the third one, you may require some hardware kind of support. So that is known here in technical term known as the infrastructure. Okay, so you may require some infrastructure kind of resources, like you may require some storage. Okay, you may require some hardware like processor, servers, network facilities. So all these kind of services, all these kind of computing resources is known as the infrastructure. So basically I'm saying here that all computation is service oriented. Okay, so all kind of computing resources are the provided in the terms of services. That may be platform kind of service, that may be application kind of service, software kind of service, that may be infrastructure or hardware kind of services. Okay, low cost software, because we know that if we want to establish our own lab, our own infrastructure, there will be the requirement of good amount of money. There should be good in one amount of the budget you should have. So if you need not to worry about the infrastructure, means that places and the resource allocation, resource installation, physically setting the labs, then this is the very good choice that you should go for the cloud computing resources. You need not to establish any labs, you need not to install any software, you need not to purchase any software, any land. Simply you can access with your terminal device, with your system, all the computing resources that I have already mentioned. That may be infrastructure, that may be platform, that may be software kind of applications. So these are provided in the low cost, because you are cutting the budget and the cost for only using these. You need not to worry about the maintenance, you need not to worry for the installation and all setup of these resources. Advanced security, because this is the cloud computing, have the many number of techniques that ensure that your resources are safe and that are not compromised. And some essential these are the common characteristics, and some essential basic characteristics are also provided. These are the characteristics that always provided by the that cloud computing resources. Whenever you, in fact, these are the fact, these are the terms, these are the fact which drive to evolve the cloud computing. Okay, from the cluster computing, from initially from the grid computing, from the edge computing. So all different kind of computing evolve to give this cloud computing, basically to provide all these type of characteristics, like on demand self service. This is the very good this is the beauty of this cloud computing, that whatever you want within second you can access. This is the beauty, of this cloud computing, and from anywhere. You need not to carry some particular hardware, software. No, simply from your smartphone you can access different kind of services of the cloud. Okay, so this is the on demand self service. You can self access that, you can self customize that. Just like if we want to organize a online meeting, like there are the number of vendor that provide this facility, like Google and Google Meet, and the number of Zoom. So when you using this, so this is the facility for you. You can self manage, self service. Like you can decide the time of the meeting, you can decide who can enter in your meeting. Okay, you can decide the recording of the meeting. You may not record as per your need. So this is the beauty of this cloud computing, that you can self service and on demand from anywhere, from any place. Broadband network access. Okay, this provide the broadband network access. The only things you required, you should have some terminal device, some intelligent or smartphone, some laptop, palm top, and you should have good quality of internet connectivity. This is the bottleneck also, because if you have not any good quality of internet, then you cannot access your own resource. That should be lock in. Okay, So this is the broadband access and rapid elasticity. Rapid elasticity means you require that now you have more need of some particular kind of computing resource like storage. So you can easily that you can increase that, and rapidly you can increase. You can elasticity that as per your need. And on the other side, if you feel that now there is no further use of this particular computing resource, you can easily release that. Okay, so you can shrink down and you can grow also. So this is the elasticity of the cloud computing or computing resources. Resource pooling. Okay, so this is the very good need of this cloud computing. Different kind of resources are come together and work to form a pool where number of user and consumer can access the services. So basically this is the multi-tenant model. Okay, the same kind of hardware are pooled, shared among number of people, thousand number of people it may be. So a measured service. So this is the quality, this is the beauty of this, that you have to pay only for that you have used. Pay per use model. Okay, so this apply the pay per use model, means measured service. All the services are measured, and on the basis of that your bill are generated. Okay, so this is the general definition that is given by the NIST, where they have shown these layered architecture. There are some common characteristics, and then essential characteristics, then services, different kind of services they provide, and how they provide these services. They deploy these services by using the different deployment model. So let us see these two different models. Basically this is the major concern as a centric part of this lecture. What are the different kind of model in the cloud computing? So there are the two type of model: service model and the deployment model. Service model and deployment model. Cloud service model, as I have given you some flavor of this type of different kind of services, different kind of computing resources that are provided by the cloud computing, that can be categorized into three broad category. Okay, so first one is the software as a service, SaaS. User provider application over the network. Okay, different kind of applications are provided over the network for the different purpose. Okay, like email services, like customer relationship management, like enterprise resource planning, ERP. Okay, so different kind of services are there. Google Meet or the online meeting, video conferencing. So these are the applications known as the software as a service. Okay, the user does not manage or control the network, server, operating system, storage or application. So when you are going for the SaaS, then you have no control on the server, network, storage, operating system. Okay, you can only use that particular software and you can customize that. Just I have told you, like Google Meet classes, you can control, means you can decide the timing of the meeting, you can decide when you have to end the meeting, who can enter in your meeting. All these are the okay. Other is the cloud platform as a service, PaaS. So basically there are the three kind of service: SaaS, PaaS and IaaS. SaaS means different kind of application for a particular need, particular purpose. And in SaaS, software as a service means software are provided as a service. You cannot manage. Somehow you can customize that, but you cannot manage whole. You cannot control that. So that is a SaaS. Other is the PaaS, platform as a service. Users deploy their application on the cloud. User control their application. So whenever you are the consumer for PaaS, platform as a service, then you can have the control on the applications. Which kind of application you can run, you can install, you can develop. In fact, you can, create your own application, you can host that application. All these, that means now you have the control and the management at the application level, at the software level. But platform services are provided as a service. You have no control. What is the platform? Like database management system, like programming capabilities, interpreter, debugger, all these are provided as a service. You have no control on this. But on the application software, you are designing, you are developing, you are running, you are hosting, on that you have the control. So then the cloud infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, that means the hardware kind of resources like rent processing, storage, network capacity and other fundamental computing resources. Hardware kind of resources come under the infrastructure. So when you are the consumer of the infrastructure as a service, then consumer get access to the infrastructure to the deploy their stuff. Don't manage or control the infrastructure. One thing you should remember, the thing or computing which are provided as a service, that means you have no control, no management on that kind of resource that is provided as a service. But other resources that on the top of that can be easily managed. Okay, so basically you can consider like this one, this is the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, that is base hardware, you can say hardware kind of resource. Then PaaS lie on the infrastructure as a service. Okay, this is the software, system software kind of things, system software. Then the SaaS, this is the application, user application kind of computing resource. Okay, so here the thing is that if you are the SaaS user, you have no control on any of these. Okay, when you are the PaaS user, so you now this PaaS and IaaS, this one, you have no control on these. Now you can control the SaaS and manage the SaaS. Okay, is it clear? Now this third one, if you are the user of IaaS, infrastructure as a service, now you have the control on the PaaS as well as SaaS, but you have no control and management on the infrastructure. This is the thing, this is the model. Similarly, this is the shown here, infrastructure, then this is the platform as a service, then software as a service come on the top. If you have this accessibility, then you have no control on any. If you have the PaaS user, then you can control and manage this software. If you are the infrastructure as a service user, then you have control on this PaaS as well as on SaaS. Okay, some example of some vendor of SaaS, Google, Salesforce. Some example of PaaS, Google App Engine, Windows Azure, Force.com. IaaS, Amazon Web Services, AWS is a good example. Then other is the platform, cloud deployment model. What is the deployment model? Deployment means how these services are deployed or hosted for the consumer. So there are the four kind of method that can be used for the deployment, for the hosting the services. Private cloud, community cloud, third one is the public cloud, and the hybrid cloud. Okay, so there are the four kind of method, four kind of technique by which you can host these services for the consumer. Private, community, public, hybrid. Private, single, this is used for the single organization only, managed by the organization or a third party on or off campus. Basically, private cloud is a very secure model, but this is the costly model, a costly technique to deploy the service. Private means all the computing resources, you can say that the data center is managed by privately by that particular consumer, or if you have no if they have no idea about that the maintenance and management, then some third party can also be taken. Okay, but the thing is that data center may reside in the campus of that particular consumer have the full control. Okay, this is the private network. So this is the very secure model. Okay, but costly because you have to pay more. Community cloud means a number of different kind of user have the same interest, like people working in the research area. So there are some kind of software, some kind of resources that are provided in the community form. Public, all the services that are accessible through the public network, like internet, like we are using the Gmail services, Google Drive, all these are on the public cloud. So this is less secure. Hybrid cloud means if you have to make the compatibility between both, you have to make the balance between cloud and between public and private. Means public is the cheap and private is the very large, and that is the risky, because that are services are provided over the open network. So you want to balance, then you have to use these both in one model, that is the hybrid cloud. Okay, so these are the discussion about the different kind of model that are adopted by the NIST, basically the service model and deployment model. Thank you very much.